This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Good morning. We're all in Team Green except for you. How you feeling?
Wonderful.
Good to see everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to DBL. It is the all-American romance that's everywhere right now. So how does Donna Kelce feel about her son, Travis, courting the biggest pop star in America, Taylor Swift? Well, Mama Donna was on the Today Show, and here's how she described what the whole thing has been like for her. Take a look.
Things have gotten even bigger lately.
Yeah, it's like every week it's like something new. Like, really? Yeah, it's. I feel like I'm in some kind of an alternate universe. It's just really, really strange, but it's fun. It's a great ride. You know, at times it gets a little annoying, but most of the time people are just so sweet, so kind, so generous, and you know, I can't. But what mother doesn't like to hear their kids are great?
So Donna also dished about what went on during last weekend's game in New York when she was seen in that private box with Taylor. Here's what Donna had to say about it. Take a look. Big excitement.
It's just one of those things where, you know, obviously everybody saw me. I was in the boxes with her, and yeah, it's just you know, another thing that's amped up my life.
Yeah. What was she like? What was it? I mean, so you got to know her a little bit. Got to see her with a couple games. How was it?
It was okay. Yeah.
What did I tell y'all?
But holy mackerel. But Donna, the question everyone really wants to know, is this a real budding romance? Here's optimistic Donna's opinion.
I honestly can't tell you. It's just too new. I can't tell you.
Okay, what do we think about what Donna had to say?
I told y'all.
What did you say, that his mother wouldn't like her?
His mother is a person of a certain age. She's been going to see her sons play football since they were probably 4 and 5 years old, when it was her sitting on a cold bench watching those little boys run around all the way up through high school. She probably has a routine. She stops at the same Dunkin' Donuts. She's been watching these boys through college. And now all of a sudden, Erica, that box is filled with hangers-on, drunk people that aren't even looking at the game, 13-year-old people texting, some pop star she barely knows, hugging all over her.
Taylor Swift is some pop star?
To her, like, she's not, I doubt she did not come off like a Swiftie. So I will just say, I think that she doesn't care for one way or the other, but if it is leaning one way, she's a little annoyed by all the hoopla around, because she's one of the people, probably more like me, that is interested in the game, and more specifically interested in her 2 sons that are balling. Both of them are in contention for a Super Bowl. She's a football fan and a mom first and second, and all these other randos hanging around, whether it be Hugh Jackman or whatever Lively, she doesn't care. She doesn't care.
Whatever.
And if it was your sons and some rapper was like, and they're like, Jeff, you were hanging out with the biggest rapper, you'd be like, all right, what's Lawson doing? He had 40 yards in the first quarter. Yeah, Let's talk about that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but she was at her other son's game earlier that day.
She was.
So it's probably a long day for her, and then with all that hoopla, she's probably like,
what's with the hoopla?
I want to watch the game.
Yeah.
Said a lot of hooplas.
I said a hoopla.
Yeah,
too.
If anybody ever wondered if Jeff and I are synced up.
Did you come in your unicycle?
You know, it's a good word to just sum it up. It's a potpourri.
It's a potpourri.
Hoopla.
Is there love in your eyes, at least? Is there some romance? These two are like...
No, I don't know if no one knows except for the 2 of them. But I think what Al is saying is important, because it's not about Taylor. It would be about anybody who came into that family and came into that fold. I mean, she reminds me a lot of the way that my dad would handle a situation.
She's a little Roosevelt
like
to you. Okay.
Because my dad.
Could you give us
some?
Oh my gosh. So in high school.
Wait, hold on. You got to channel.
Take it. Wait, hold on. So knock.
So in high school, I dated a guy whose father was a famous boxer, and it was like, you know, everybody was like it was a big deal about
Just
it,
say
right?
Rocky.
And I remember saying, oh no, so we're gonna go to his house and watch some old video or whatever, and I was like, it's cool because they're gonna put it up on thing, and he was like, oh, are they? I'm supposed to be impressed because somebody hit somebody one day 20 years ago. I'm supposed to stop what I'm doing so I can get on somebody else's schedule.
Oh my
I was like, the man was in the pot and the blood and the like all this, and I was like, Dad, like it's not. And he's like, I'm gonna need you to be a little less impressed by other people.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
That's why I said she's a person from a certain generation that doesn't fanboy and fangirl out. I had a friend that was in the car with his dad, and a famous football player walked by, and he goes, Dad, that's so-and-so, and he goes, so it is. It's a different generation.
Wow.
You guys can fanboy out and embarrass yourselves. People that like worked for a living don't really care that you sung some great songs in the late 80s. They don't.
Do they
and
care?
you saw her, was she not a little frosty?
I thought so. Now that I
frosty.
saw it, if you play it back, Taylor's really all hanging all over Donna, and you do see Donna being like,
All I do is
okay.
look at body
I gotta go
language.
back real fast. Al said that Taylor Swift sang some songs in the late 80s.
No, I'm saying like if you're like 60
I thought you were
something,
referencing Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, she is bigger than that. All right, let's go to this topic. Sherri Shepherd has admitted to spying on her teenage son in their own home. On Andy Cohen's podcast, Sherri said she put a camera in the family room when her son had his former girlfriend over, but then when they went into his bedroom, she covertly put the camera in there as well. Have a listen.
So what did you see?
Nothing. They play video games.
No.
And my son, you know what I realized? My son is such a gentleman.
Oh.
Like, they play video games and he would kiss her on the cheek. And then sometimes they would turn, like, as soon as she turned her head, I was like, oh, I can't watch it. I can't watch it. But they never, like, they sit on the edge of the bed and play video games. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay.
I don't like this. Sherri said she has since unplugged the cameras and no longer spies on her son. I'm not a parent. I want to be clear about that. I think this is completely invasive of his privacy and trust, and would be a really big deal to have with my mom or dad if I found out there was covert cameras in there. And maybe I'm wrong.
That's amazing that you have a voice in your parents' house, because a lot of us grew up not having a voice in our parents'
It's a
house.
different
And I think
philosophy.
Sherri Shepherd is one of those people.
people.
It's like,
I get
you
it.
want privacy, you pay for privacy. It's
I know,
called rent.
But privacy is also part of puberty and growing up and feeling safe and protected, and I feel this was very invasive. So I would be really upset if I were the child at this point. Am I wrong? I'm not a parent.
No, I think the
I'm not a
child
parent.
has a point, and Eric, I don't want to cut you off, but I think what Sherri Shepherd is realizing is her baby boy is a young man, and it's hard to let go. But what she saw on the camera is that the 16 years of work that she put in went towards something. He is a gentleman. He wasn't, doing anything untoward. He was treating her like she had taught him to. And for a lot of parents that don't hook up cameras, we just have to hope that once Erica and Jeff leave the homes of their parents, that something that you put into them, they take out in the world.
Okay, but
with
you
them.
didn't answer the question. Would you put a camera in Eli's?
Absolutely not.
Or Elijah's, whatever. You
Absolutely
would not. Of course not. I
'Cause
would.
what if you did see something? Now you can't. Now you can't unsee that.
Jeff, what do you think?
That's exactly where I was going. What if something had happened? What's your next step?
Yeah. Don't you
Watch your son have sex with some girl, and then tell the girl, and then tell her parents, hey, I was recording your daughter in my son's room.
It's a very
and I have
awkward
this
situation.
Sex tape. What should we do?
Right.
Yes.
Maybe not film them.
Right.
Maybe that's where you start. So
Yeah.
I also think
it's
that
a
might
little.
be
It's a little.
underage, whatever,
I
too.
understand protecting your kids.
Right.
You know, I want to be fully protective, but there's a limit.
So Megan Alexander just wrote in, I would not want that at all, but the door stays open. You can't heat down that wing of the house, but I brought snacks occasionally.
Yeah, that's old school. You keep the door open.
Keep the door
Or
open.
I was never allowed to have a boy in my room.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Roosevelt.
Move the video games in
I
our
need you
living
to be
room.
less impressed with
Yeah,
people.
and-
like that.
And it turns out I am.
And you are. And you totally are. Coming up on TV, you can't phase this woman. The Golden Bachelor continues to be a huge hit. We're talking all about last night's tearjerker episode. And speaking of getting back in the dating game, a dating expert is sharing how to find love again in the second act of life.
Who that demo was. That's
Same
a very,
as Taylor Swift.
But do you think?
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, you said the Beatles and Elvis for that generation. Can you come up with somebody that would be out of that particular demographic?
I don't.
Well, I'm just saying it's the same as Taylor
No,
Swift.
but I think their daughters would fangirl over the Beatles, but their dad would be like, get a man's haircut. You know, I think
But
they.
I'm saying Travis Kelce's mom was a teenager probably when the Beatles were there.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of things depend on where you're from.
Fan mania over the Beatles was even crazier than the Taylor Swift mania.
Chris, you are from Wisconsin. You know there's a lot of Midwestern folks that I think about my ex-mother-in-law.
Get in there.
She didn't care. She can't, her husband was a postal worker, and they didn't have that kind of mania that I think that a 50-year-old woman or even 45-year-old woman would have
it's not that
now.
you're wrong. It's just that there were people who were.
There were famous people.
There were people that were mad fans even back in the day. But there was also the people you're talking about that wanted that pushed against that and went the other way.
Yeah, there was something very.
It existed.
Yeah, but famously, Larry Bird ended his career. He was retarring his mom's driveway in French Lick, and he threw it. And it's he was a multimillionaire, but it's there was no question. It's the way that it was a different generation of people. And I think Donna Kelce is just annoyed by all this and knows that it's going to go away at some point.
I wonder where they're from, too, because obviously it also plays a part of if you're from the Midwest,
no,
in a small
they're from
town.
where I'm from, literally the same street, Cleveland Heights.
Oh, if you're from the city or you're a little more, you might be more apt to be a fan, even in that era. But if you're from Wisconsin, you're not at all.
Welcome back. Get your tissues ready because the season of The Golden Bachelor is giving us all the feels. On last night's episode, one contestant confessed she was actually a little uncomfortable wearing a wedding dress for a photo shoot because the last time she wore one was 36 years ago, was when she married her late husband. Then another contestant revealed that, like Gary, she also wears hearing aids. Oh, she's super cute. I'd like her. And Gary got emotional and teared up when he had to eliminate 3 women during the rose ceremony. Gary also bonded with Teresa, who revealed she lost her husband 9 years ago after 42 years of marriage. Take a look.
I married my high school sweetheart. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
I married my high school sweetheart, and we were married 42 years, and he passed away. Neither one of us thought this was going to happen. We thought we were going to live with our spouses for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. Teresa's story was so similar to mine. All of a sudden, my emotion about my loss, I didn't feel like breaking down and crying for once. I felt like we're back to hopefulness about the future.
Okay, hold on. That was very sweet. The milkshake was not appreciated with the straws.
One malt, get 2 straws.
Killer of joy over here.
No, we talk about first dates. If someone dipped in with, while I was drinking, first of all, a milkshake on a first date, I'd be like, listen, you keep the rest. I'm going to pay for this, and you have a good life, and I'm leaving.
Yeah, you also, in your 40-something years of being on this earth, never went to the hop, but they did. And they shared milkshakes.
Yeah, we've all
Don't make it okay, Erica. That was a good point.
I'm telling you.
But don't make it okay.
Okay,
I'll be right back. I'm going to put a nickel in the jukebox.
That's what they did.
Well, it's nostalgic, so it'd be like, hey, let's go to
the rave
Peach Pit after dark.
All right.
Yes, 90210, shout out.
Nice.
I want to ask you guys this, just looking, do you think that they should, maybe the show, or just if we're regular folks like us, if we're going to start our second act, going after a marriage that was 30, 40 years, if you should talk to a psychologist before you do that?
Because
like
a therapist?
A therapist, yeah.
About who
just
should?
About letting go of a lifelong relationship before entering a new one.
I don't know the rules on The Bachelor, but to let you, from the shows that I've done, the Big Brother and things, you talk to a therapist before you go on and after.
Oh, wow.
And they're available to you if you need additional help.
Oh,
so
is that right?
They do put you through a strenuous psychological test as well
wow.
before you go on to see if you could handle a lot of this and if you have emotions that you know, you might not be fit for the show. I don't know if they do on The Bachelor. I assume they would with something like that. Just to answer
That's
your
a
question.
good point. I do want to say one of the women that was unfortunately asked to leave, she said they were like, any ideas or notes that you had? And she goes, for the rose ceremony, we need chairs. You have 60 and 70-year-old women. We need to sit down. It was so cute.
No, I found that to be very strange that they didn't.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the day, there was a guy who was from Chicago. We actually knew him. It was pretty funny. But his knees buckled, so he tipped over.
Oh, no.
Okay, it wasn't funny at the time. It was funny now. She was okay?
You seem awful.
It was funny then.
Okay, it was funny. I'm so sorry, David. Anyway, it was funny. But he tipped over because they're standing there for so long. So I thought it was really strange
she said,
that they didn't have them, like, seated.
Yeah, she was really like, we can't stand that long. And I thought, good point. Very good point. I can't wait for this gentler, more romantic Bachelor with the malt shake.
How many episodes in are you?
I've seen 7. Coming up, has there been
the second episode.
Coming up on DBL, speaking of finding love, dating expert Kimmy Seltzer is sharing how you can put yourself back out there again later in life, much like what Al was saying in mint green. Al.
Carving the perfect pumpkin. It's something many families will do this October. To give it a longer shelf life, some people will dump the jack-o'-lantern in vinegar or even a bleach solution. Clorox, a company that makes bleach, says to preserve a carved pumpkin, you can dilute the bleach by adding no more than a tablespoon of bleach per gallon of water and then dunk your pumpkin in for a few seconds. But this social media post warns people against that, saying it could harm any wildlife that comes along and eats the pumpkin. Is that true? Let's verify. Our sources, Jennifer Gordon, director of Carolina Waterfowl Rescue, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Bleach is commonly used in agriculture, but the USDA cautions against its household use to clean raw fruits and vegetables that you intend to eat. But what about your pumpkins?
As long as people are properly diluting the bleach, which should be like 1 tablespoon of bleach to 1 gallon of water, and they just submerge the pumpkin for a minute, it doesn't really have any effect on the animals.
Gordon says that's because there is not a lot of bleach in the solution, and so the bleach dries up quickly and harmlessly.
They're not drinking the bleach when they're eating the pumpkin later.
She says the real issue for animals is decorations like fake spider webs. In Charlotte, Gordon says they get about 6 to 10 calls every year about a bird stuck in the webbing.
It's important that if they do put stuff out that they are looking at it every day.
So we can verify that no, as long as you are diluting the bleach properly, you can use it to preserve your carved pumpkins, and it will not harm any wildlife that consumes the pumpkin.
Welcome back. We just talked about people loving The Golden Bachelor because it's showing the world that everyone deserves to find that special someone no matter their age. And earlier, confidence therapist and dating expert Kimmy Seltzer shared dating tips for the second act in Finding Love. Take a look. Please welcome confidence therapist and dating expert Kimmy Seltzer.
Yeah.
Hello. Good to be here.
Thanks for coming. Kimmy Seltzer. There's got to be a drink named after you at some point. Yes. So, Kimmy, let's start with The Golden Bachelor because Gary told his family he would not be the guy to kiss on the first night, okay? But he did. Is it okay to kiss on the first date?
I say go for it.
Ooh,
you know, when it comes to this stuff, there are no rules, especially when you're dating later in life. I mean, one of the things that happens when you've been in a relationship for a really long time is that you feel a little stale and maybe you want to get your mojo back. When I'm working with my clients, I really try to gain clarity on what it is that they're set out to do. And so if both parties are feeling it, I say go for it.
Ooh, I love it. Kimmy, when it comes to dating during your second act, you have 3 tips people need to master. Can you give us the 3 tips?
Maybe you've never dated before. Maybe you've only been in one relationship. So now's the time to have a little fun, get to know yourself as you are dating in the second act. I actually call it dating yourself. And so the first thing that I have people do is create a dating plan. So there's a 3-prong approach that I teach people. The first thing is to go out and practice once a week, go to the grocery store, go to the coffee shops, and practice the art of flirting and gab. You know, just get used to the opposite sex. You know, maybe it's been a while, and there's a difference between being friendly and flirty. The second thing is sign up for a class. You know, when you are in a class, you see people over and over again. Something that is really important is to get a good set of single people in your life, because a lot of times your friends are married or coupled off and they don't get it. They don't have that flirty energy that you need.
Right.
And the third thing I would say is sign up for a one-off event. You know, maybe go to a meetup, go to something that you're passionate about. Maybe it's wine tasting, because most likely your people will be there.
Your people.
The second tip I have is to dress the part. So what I mean by that is get a good dating costume. Your dating costume should be different than your work costume. You know, one of the things that happened to me is while I did a lot of work on myself, I looked like a hot mess. I was this frazzled mom, and it wasn't until I went to the store and this personal shopper held up a red dress to me and said, "Put this on," is when I looked in the mirror and I really saw it and I felt it. This is so important. Yeah. And then the third tip is probably one of the most important tips, and that is flirt. Flirt, flirt, flirt. A lot of times people get tripped up and they don't flirt because they're worried about what's next. That's not what flirting's about. It's about being present, it's about being playful, and really kind of creating this magnetism that draws people to you.
Oh. Thank you.
So
I was trying to flirt. Okay.
Let's talk more.
Thank you.
Oh, Lord. Let's talk more about being approachable. How can people best convey this?
The first thing is paying attention to your face. It's the first thing that people see. So that is making eye contact, smiling. I mean, really, like 93% of communication is nonverbal. So what you say isn't even as important as how you look. The second thing I teach is your kind of body talk. And what I mean by that is it's your posture. Are you standing up? The third thing that I teach is also positioning. So if you are someone who goes to a restaurant and hides in a corner and cackling with your girlfriends that, you know, how there's no good men out there, you are not going to be approached. I say sit dead center at a bar so that you're in position to talk to people.
Those are great tips. Those are really...
Yeah, don't hide in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Swayze.
Kimmy, thank you so much for joining us on DBL today. To our viewers, Kimmy has a virtual workshop coming up on October 10th and a dating retreat program starting November 1st. To learn more, visit KimmySeltzer.com/now or just scan the QR code. Thank you again, Kimmy. Great advice. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
Good practice. Thanks, Kimmy.
Thank you.
One in 3 cigarettes sold in the U.S. is flavored with menthol, a mint-like flavor additive that the CDC says can make cigarettes easier to smoke. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has argued for years that it also makes cigarettes more addictive and increases their appeal among children and young adults. One verified viewer texted us to say they heard the federal government is considering a ban on menthol cigarettes and wants to know if this is true. So, let's verify. Our sources are the FDA, the Office of the Federal Register, and the Tobacco Products Scientific Advisory Committee. In 2009, Congress passed the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act. The law created a committee to study the health impacts of menthol cigarettes. 2 years later, the committee recommended the FDA ban the flavor. The agency began accepting public comment about what to do, but took no further action. In 2018, the FDA again accepted public comment and took no action. Then, last year, the FDA proposed a ban on the manufacturing and sale of menthol cigarettes and planned to finalize the rule by August 2023, but it's still in the works. So, yes, the FDA is considering a ban on menthol cigarettes and has been for 14 years, but it still hasn't finalized a plan to actually do so. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Did Congress give itself a secret pay raise as part of the recent deal to avoid a government shutdown? That was the question one of our viewers, John, asked us. That bill was passed at the last minute over the weekend, keeping federal agencies funded for another 45 days while Congress tries to agree on new annual spending bills. But one member of Congress claimed the agreement originally included a pay bump for the members in the form of a cost of living increase. So let's verify. Did the shutdown deal include a pay raise for Congress? Our sources: the text of the deal, earlier versions of the bill, last year's spending bills, the Ethics Reform Act of 1989, the Congressional Research Service, and video from the House floor. Congressional pay rules were established by the Ethics Reform Act of 1989, and the law includes a provision that says every year members automatically get a cost of living increase. However, Congress has elected to prevent that increase from taking effect every year since 2009. And the final text of the deal reached over the weekend also has language preventing that increase from taking effect. So no, the shutdown deal did not include a pay raise for Congress. But an earlier version proposed in the House didn't have that language. Some House leaders said it's simply not needed because any sort of cost of living increase wouldn't go into effect until January, and this deal only covers the next 45 days. But after Democrats raised the issue, a Republican congressman proposed an amendment to add the language just to be safe, and it passed unanimously.
Without objection, the modification is agreed to.
With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Welcome back. If you're about to remodel your bathroom, there are several new design ideas trending on TikTok right now you might want to consider. One, we're talking about it in today's tip, sponsored by Jacuzzi. First, turn your shower into a steam room with a built-in bench. Next, take your shower to the next level with a built-in nook. And finally, this is pretty cool, add a towel rack heater for a nice warm bath sheet whenever you need it. Ooh. If you want to start your remodel, Jacuzzi can help you do it the right way. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched stress-free remodeling process. Visit jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 1-800-990-6834. My dad has a bath towel heater and I burned myself really badly, so be careful.
Okay.
Today we're remembering a true NFL legend. Dick Butkus has passed away at his home in Malibu yesterday at 80 years old. Now, the hard-hitting Bears linebacker was arguably one of the greatest of all time. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1979, and that was his first year of eligibility. Following his football career, Butkus pursued acting, appearing in films like Necessary Roughness and Any Given Sunday. He was also a regular on the sitcom My Two Dads.
Yes. Jeff.
Bear, you got to go to Jeff.
I mean, listen, the Chicago Bears won yesterday after hearing this news. I got to think Butkus was looking down, helping them out a little bit. But when you think Chicago sports, especially football, you think Dick Butkus, you think Walter Payton. He's a legend in Chicago, so he's going to be missed for sure.
May he rest in power, which he did have. We'll see you Monday, same time, same place. Have a great weekend. May you rest in peace, Mr. Butkus.